Looking to catch up on the latest Star Wars books? Try listening to them on audio. Featuring sound effects and music directly from the movies, Star Wars audiobooks are the definitive listening experience. From brand new audiobooks such as Alphabet Squadron and the audiobook exclusive Dooku Jedi Lost to our blockbuster movie tie-in editions, you'll have plenty to keep you entertained. Start listening wherever audiobooks are sold. Are you looking for something more inspiring? Bubble Up, that's BUBLUP, is an all-new app that is an incredible resource for organizing and managing your life, as well as a fun way to learn about just any topic you can possibly imagine. Keep all of your important links, photos, videos, music, documents, and more together visually organized the way that you want. Use Bubble Up for work, entertainment, and personal use. Get ready to take fun and organization to a whole new level. Go to bubbleup.com/promo/Coffee with Kenobi and activate Coffee with Kenobi's exclusive promo to help get started on Bubble Up. That's BUBLUP. See you there. This episode of Coffee with Kenobi is brought to you by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. For all of your travel needs to Disney theme parks, the cruise lines, or anywhere you want to go on vacation like Batuu and Galaxy's Edge, for example, be sure to go to our affiliate link, which can be found in the show notes, on the front of our webpage, or on all of our social media, and sign up for a free, no-obligation quote. We are also brought to you by One Nation Coffee, the official brew of Coffee with Kenobi. For the best coffee in the galaxy, go to www.onenationcoffee.com and sign up for a subscription service so you never miss out on the best coffee in the galaxy.
This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is Vanessa Marshall, Harrison Dula from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi.
Hello and welcome to show number 284 of Coffee with Kenobi, your spoiler-free place for Star Wars discussion, analysis, and rhetoric. I'm here drinking One Nation coffee out of my Boba's Beans mug from Celebration Chicago, and I can't wait to be here with you and share what's going on in the world of Star Wars this week. On today's show, we have got Amiyrah Martin and Tania Lamb joining us to discuss the many different food and drink options in Galaxy's Edge, and Tom is back with Star Wars news. So pull up a chair, grab your favorite coffee mug, and let's have some coffee with Kenobi.
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first?
Joining all of us today for a cup of coffee. First, we have the multimedia content creator and founder of the Star Wars Moms, Amiyrah Martin.
Hey, hi guys. How are you?
We are great, and of course, we're not taking a picture now together, but Amiyrah, of course, is one of the people I had the good fortune to be in the Target commercial with, so I always love seeing and chatting with Amiyrah. This is fun.
Yes, it's like old friends.
Exactly. And I still, every time I see pictures of your son, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? What are you feeding that kid?
Everything. He's a teenager now.
Oh man, yeah, I know how that is. Also joining us today, family entertainment and travel writer and another good friend of Coffee with Kenobi, Tania Lamb.
Hello, how are you?
I am great. It's great to have you on. This is your first appearance on Coffee with Kenobi.
It is, and I'm super excited. You're famous, Dan, so thanks for having me on.
Oh, wow. Well, it takes one to know one. You two have... It's great watching both of your social media accounts because you both have these great families and these great things you have going on, which we're certainly going to talk about as we go on through the show. But the topic for today is the food and the drinks at Galaxy's Edge. So I've talked for a couple of shows about my experiences at Galaxy's Edge. I've been lucky to be on a few other podcasts talking about it. One thing that was missing from my resume, while I did get to sample some of the local cuisine, and some of the drinks, you two really got an awesome opportunity to do just that. So tell us, if you would, about what your day was like at Galaxy's Edge. Before we get into the food itself, I'd love to hear your first reactions, your favorite things, stuff like that. And Tania, let's start with you.
Okay. So first of all, I was Amiyrah's guest when I went, so I was super excited to be able to experience it with her, I'm a Star Wars fan, but then there's like Amiyrah level Star Wars fan, and it's just fun to watch somebody on that type of level. But I mean, walking into Galaxy's Edge and seeing the Millennium Falcon like right in your face is incredible. Like it's just indescribable. I got goosebumps and I was just really excited. And I think I was kind of caught up in the moment so much that I didn't really have time to feel, like tears streaming down my face, or like, it was just like, go, go, go. Let's do everything. Let's do what we can. And so it was just kind of a race. And then afterwards, when it was all over, I'm like, oh, wait, I need some more time. Like, I want to go back.
What was it seeing the Falcon? Was that like, that was a pretty cool moment, of course.
Oh yeah. And then just, because I was dressed like Han Solo.
Yeah, I know you had that cool coat.
Yeah. And so just walking through, I mean, the whole queue of Smuggler's Run is incredible. And then being able to sit in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon and see all of that. I mean, it's unreal. The details they're incredible. And I love that Disney took so much time and effort to really make it into a story for everybody.
Oh, very well said. That there is definitely a story there, and I would like to hear, Amiyrah, your kind of reaction. I mean, I saw you had this great picture of you looking at the Falcon, which I love. But what was it like for you, being a huge Star Wars fan, going into Galaxy's Edge for the first time?
It was kind of like a rush. It was more of for probably only a few of your listeners will relate to this, but if you're married and you've had your wedding day, you know how you feel that rush of, oh my gosh, this is all happening, and your mind isn't on what's about to happen, or you walking down the aisle. It's kind of like, okay, is this in place? And have we done everything? Like, that's what it felt like walking into. Like, okay, this is the big day. This is our big day. And you walk in, and there's so much to see. And we were with a bigger group of journalists and influencers. So they kind of had to kind of hoard us over to this way and that way. And like, come on, guys, hurry up. They were trying to get us to Smuggler's Run, which was really awesome. They wanted us to get on it right away, which was great. So there was just so much to look at so quickly. And I kind of felt like, oh my gosh, this is like, are we going to miss our chance to really be overwhelmed by it all? And we didn't. It was so great to kind of be rushed into the attraction, I think, for a fan like me, because if I would have stopped and just took it all in, I probably would have stood there for an hour and wasted one of our 4 hours that we had there. So it was great to kind of have them do that for us. Like, come on, guys, we want you to really experience this and start it off right. And just to be on Smuggler's Run and have that be the very, very, very first thing that we did in the land it was amazing. And I got to sit in Han's seat. So, I tried not to get choked up there. But it was cool. It was cool to start it off that way. And then, Tania and I, we had game plans. We wanted to look at everything and try everything and do as much as possible. So it was kind of a mission. We were on a mission in Batuu. Yeah. And then by the time we left, that's when, like Tania said, that's when it really hit me. By the time we left and they were like gently pushing us out of the land.
We were the last
around
people out. Like, the last people.
I know, it was really bad because they were being so nice and they were not letting us go anywhere in the land but out. And they let us kind of have a little bit of a moment. So that's kind of when I got choked up. I just had bags in my hand and I had a droid in my right hand and bags in my left hand. And I turned back and no one was behind me. No one. And I got choked up and I was like, oh my gosh, we really just experienced that. So it's one of those things where you're gonna feel an emotion, and it may not be during the time that you think you're gonna feel it, but you will feel it as a fan.
I totally agree, and I do think they didn't really need to release Rathtars to make us leave, but it certainly is effective.
Oh my gosh, I think that would be fun. I kind of like that.
So how did they they brought us in backstage and we walked around the wall and boom, there's the Falcon. How did they bring you all in?
I think was it the same way, Tania?
Yeah, I think so. But the difference was when we came around, so we came around the left side of the Falcon, And there was about, I don't know, 500 kids from the Boys and Girls Clubs in California. And so you just hear them chanting and screaming, "Let us in, let us in." And so it's just, I'm like laughing and I'm like, oh crap, no, let me go first. And so we're like running to get to the balcony before they let the kids on.
Was it "Let Us In" or "Tania Lamb"? They were very excited to see you. It was kind of neat because you just kind of, boom, just sort of hits you. So that you said you had like a schedule, and we had a schedule the first day for sure. Did they take you right into Docking Bay 7, or where did you go to try some of the food? Tell me kind of about your schedules for the day. And Tania, just keep going on with you with your part of this.
Mm-hmm. We didn't have a schedule. They just said, this is your 4 hours, like from 3 to 7.
Oh.
And so they did lead us onto the Millennium Falcon first, because I think because of the boys and girls from the Boys and Girls Club,
Sure.
they wanted us to ride, and then they were going to let them on. So as soon as we were done with that, we just did whatever we wanted. And so I think one of our priorities, so after we came out, we decided to take some pictures in front of the Millennium Falcon, and then we headed to Oga's Cantina to make sure that we were able to experience that, because we had heard, there were some long lines and sometimes people wouldn't get in. So we wanted to make sure we would do that.
And so how much, when we went through the Cantina, they had a display of drinks around. We weren't allowed to order anything specifically. It's more like, here, try these. Here's some alcoholic. Here's some non-alcoholic options. What was it like for the two of you, Amiyrah?
Well, we experienced it like the regular patrons were going to experience. So we had to wait in line, and then once there was a table ready, they let us in and took us to our table.
Oh.
And then we just got to order off of the menu. So we had the alcoholic side and the non-alcoholic side. And then we ordered like we would regularly order. And we paid for it. Actually, they gave us little cards, which was nice. Thanks, Disney. They gave us little Disney food cards.
Uh-huh.
So we got to, use those. And we just ordered whatever drink, tickled our fancy. I think I got the Java juice. Right, Tania? What did you get?
I got the carbon free. So I don't drink alcohol. So I really enjoyed that they had an entire side of the menu for non-alcoholic drinks. And so my drink was the carbon freeze, and it had dry ice. So it was, one of the bubbly ones with the little boba balls, and it was really good.
What did it taste like?
It was fruity for sure. I'm trying to remember what type of fruit. It was kind of an apple base.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it was green apple, maybe, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was good. I liked it.
And Amiyrah, you said you got the Java juice? Jawa or Jabba?
No, Jabba, like Jabba the Hutt. Jabba.
Okay, sure.
It was like a fatter glass and it's kind of orangey. And it had orange juice in it, maybe pineapple. It was definitely tropical. So I think pineapple and I want to say maybe a kiwi too. And then it's supposed to have blueberry popping pearls I think like the little pearls at the bottom of it. And mine didn't, which was fine. But I saw somebody else and theirs had it. And I was like, oh, that does look pretty cool. So it's just like a little something that was supposed to be in there. I didn't miss it. I thought it was really good. And mine was non-alcoholic too.
Okay.
So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was nice that they had those there.
I agree.
Which I think, if you're bringing your kid in, you don't want your kid to just be sitting there. I love that they can have a nice non-alcoholic something. And if you do drink alcohol, you can enjoy an alcoholic drink too. So
it really is a wonderful atmosphere that they have. It's a bar, but you could be a young child or you could be an adult, and you could both enjoy yourselves and feel comfortable doing so because of the way that they have this place texturized and the different things going on, whether it's DJ Rex spinning records or I assume they have records on Star Wars. I'm not sure. And it's just an incredible environment. I had something, it was kind of a pineapple coffee flavor.
Huh.
And it was really good, but it wasn't labeled, or if it was, it's been a few weeks now, so I don't even remember. But it was definitely really good. Now, what about food? Did you was that also in Oga's, or did you leave to go somewhere else?
No, they didn't. That's something that I wish they did have, was a little bit more food options in Oga's. They just have one It's kind of a trail mix, like a little spicy trail mix. That's the only food offering they have there. So after that, we were hungry. And we did go and we tried the blue and green milk.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually a good place to take a quick break. So let's do that, and we'll think about how we're going to word this. And when we come back from our break, we'll talk about the blue and green milk as well as some of the food options on Batuu. This is Coffee with Kenobi.
Greetings. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi.
Looking to catch up on the latest Star Wars books? Try listening to them on audio. Featuring sound effects, top-notch narrators, and music directly from the movies, Star Wars audiobooks are the definitive listening experience. From Luke Skywalker to Kylo Ren to Admiral Akbar, you'll recognize all of your favorite characters. Listen to movie tie-ins like The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, and original titles such as Alphabet Squadron, Master and Apprentice, and the audiobook exclusive Dooku Jedi Lost. With Star Wars audiobooks, you'll have plenty of Star Wars listening to keep you entertained. Available wherever audiobooks are sold. Like so many of us, I have a very busy life. I am a teacher, I run this podcast, and I have my wonderful family. So, anything I can do to stay organized is huge for me. Cue Bubble Up, B-U-B-L-U-P. Bubble Up is an all-new app that is an incredible resource for organizing and managing your life, as well as a fun way to learn about almost any topic you can possibly imagine. Keep all of your important links, photos, videos, music, documents, and more together, visually organized the way that you want it. And by the way, if you're interested in looking at more Bubble Up things involving Star Wars, I've got quite a few things on the app already for you to enjoy. Whether I am researching stuff for podcast episodes, planning a trip to Disney World, or getting things ready for my classroom, Bubble Up is my favorite way to get things visually organized the way I want it. Plus, I can create a web page called a Bubble Up Roll and share it with my friends. Use Bubble Up for work, entertainment, and personal use. Get ready to take fun and organization to a whole new level. Go to bubbleup.com/promo/coffee with Kenobi and activate Coffee with Kenobi's exclusive promo code to get started on Bubble Up. Again, that's BUBLUP. Get ready to have an amazing time organizing and planning out your life. So the excitement for Galaxy's Edge is here. It's happening. We were able to get into the land without reservations, but you're going to need help planning this trip. It is very exciting, and you don't want to miss it because there's so many things going on to get you inside that land and experience all that Batuu and Galaxy's Edge has to offer. That's why you need MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. They have signature service and expert advice to help clients maximize their vacation time and dollar. It's a no-cost, no-obligation quote when you use the service, and they also proactively adjust a booking if the rate goes down. They can help your family enjoy everything the Disney theme parks and the cruise lines have to offer, help plan every detail, and share invaluable tips to not only the Disney theme parks, but Universal and anywhere else you want to go on vacation. Be sure to go to our affiliate link, which can be found in the show notes, on the front of our webpage, or on social media, and sign up for a free, no-obligation quote. A huge thank you to our CWK Patreon contributors, Jason Hall, Rebecca Raven, Dennis Keithley, Colby Mead, Yancey Evans, Dave Ritchie, Ross Halliban, Frank Mulder, Alexander Moylan, Melinda Wolf, Aaron Harris, Chris Kavarka, Angela Sauce, Mediocre Jedi, Christine Turk, Darth Mucky, Sean Reed, Kurt McKellen, Dan Ream, Brian Harding, Blake Weaver, Jim Capron, Caroline Maselli, Chris Metz, LJ Souter, Thea Selby, Jeff Ellis, Daz Davies, Christian Dale, Brian McKinney, Connie Shee, Jared Cantor, BJ Smith, Eric Struthers, Nick Deco, and Mark Suter. On our Coffee with Kenobi Patreon page, you have exclusive access to CWK Pour, which is our weekly podcast not heard anywhere else, featuring myself, Corey Clubb, and Tom Gross as we pour into popular culture, into things going on behind the scenes of our show. Sometimes we will have breaking things here. We have the best time talking and sharing the conversation with you, and your feedback has been tremendous. We also have access to CWK Lens for $10 a month, which is a daily video or snapshots of different things going on in the Coffee with Kenobi studios and the planning that goes into it. And when we go on trips to cover events, you will get access to things not seen or heard anywhere else. If you're curious about helping out Coffee with Kenobi on Patreon, go to www.patreon.com/coffeewithkenobi and sign up today. Your contributions help grow this show in so many ways, and I can't thank you enough.
And now, let's see what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week.
Oh, wait. This is interesting.
You found something.
I'm about to let everyone in on the secret.
That sound is not the sound of 1,000 terrible things coming our way, like Qui-Gon says to Jar Jar in episode 1 of The Phantom Menace, but that sound means it is time for the news segment that sometimes disappears for a while, but then comes back, but that is only because of scheduling and the fact that we have other things going on in our lives that sometimes take precedence.
So I'm not on probationary.
You are not on probation.
Oh,
Sometimes
okay.
it's mostly it's because of your schedule. So if you are, it's because you've done it to yourself. Now we're happy to have you back on for the news. I can't wait to hear what you have in mind. And I'm pretending like I don't know what you're going to say, but I do actually do. So go ahead.
Yes, indeed. Well, it is great to be back. And with the release of the book Thrawn, Treason just a few weeks away on July 23rd, StarWars.com released this week an excerpt from the pages of the book. In this excerpt, there is a stunning meeting between Governor Tarkin, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Director Orson Krennic, and the Emperor. Let's just say there's a tense feeling about this meeting that's it's only heightened if you listen to the audiobook excerpt that is included and is narrated by the incredible talents of Mark Thompson. Now, events of the book, written by Timothy Zahn, test Thrawn's loyalty to the Empire as he loses his support for the TIE Defender program and receives a dire warning about his homeworld. So Thrawn's effortless command of strategy and manipulation must guide him through an impossible choice: duty to the Chiss ascendancy or loyalty to the Empire. This novel looks to fill in a dark and exciting part of the Star Wars timeline.
And this is a thread that's been going on since this Thrawn trilogy in the post expanded universe canonical timeline. So I'm interested in this for sure. I mean, Timothy Zahn and Thrawn is a perfect combination, like Tom Gross and the CWK News.
Oh, yes, so, just like that.
It's cool. I mean, it's coming up fast. I mean, there is an incredible amount of Star Wars books. Amy Ratcliffe actually posted on Instagram how many books she still has to catch up on, and I'm certainly kind of feeling that as well. That being said, I'm very excited to see and listen to this because I know I'll listen to the audiobook too.
Yeah, I think this is one I'm going to definitely try to, especially after hearing the excerpt on StarWars.com, the audio excerpt. I think this is one I'm going to try to listen to. He does such a great job on Thrawn's voice, and it just drips with. It's creepy almost.
Did you meet him at Celebration?
I did not.
Oh yeah, he's a cool guy.
Oh, and that
really
helps.
Fun. Yeah,
really
that
helps. So yeah, can't come out soon enough. And you're right. My list of Star Wars books is there's a stack of them.
Ginormous, as the kids say.
Ginormous, indeed. Well, we could put it on a calendar that early July will spring forth with San Diego Comic-Con Star Wars exclusives. StarWars.com released a grocery list of treasures from across the galaxy this week, including things like shaker bottles and glassware, a door knocker, posters, and t-shirts. Now, there are a few notables that caught my eye as collectible, or even, as my kids would say, too cute to pass up. If you were at Star Wars Celebration Chicago and you stopped by the wonderful Hasbro display, which I failed to take enough pictures of, by the way, you might have seen the prototype with bright colors Darth Vader figure. Do you remember seeing that?
Not only do I remember it, I'm looking forward to getting it.
Oh, well, that will be at Star Wars or at San Diego Comic-Con, and it's selling for only $12.99. Also from Hasbro will be the 6-inch Kenner-inspired coloring Boba Fett figure and a 3-pack of Luke Skywalker 3 3/4-inch figures depicting Luke from each of the original 3 films, his Stormtrooper disguise, X-Wing pilot, and Jedi Knight. Now, Funko, of course, continues their exclusives with 2 green chrome pops, a Yoda and a Boba Fett. But Hallmark wins the Adorable Award with their exclusives. One is an ornament titled A Wild Ride on Endor, depicting an Ewok with legs flying behind him and hands held tight on a speeder bike. But the Adorable Award goes to the Chewbacca Bandolier Itty Bitties Carrier. Now you got to see these. These are I just was blown away by this. If the itty bitties aren't adorable enough by themselves when they're just sitting there kind of weighted down on your desk or on your display, now you can carry your collection close to you on a Chewbacca bandolier and you just slide them right into their spots. I can't even say enough about this collectible. If there's someone going to San Diego Comic-Con, I want one. Now, there is something for every Star Wars fan at San Diego Comic-Con. So, Dan, have you had a chance to look, and what jumps out at you?
I certainly have, and I think there's a lot of fun stuff there. There's a lot of fun stuff that you're going to see in the Lucasfilm Pavilion area that is typically there, because I have a number of vendors that just have Star Wars stuff. That's where I got my OtterBox Millennium Falcon phone case last year at San Diego Comic-Con. I will not be going.
Yeah.
People have been asking me. I'm not going to Comic-Con this year because we're doing our family vacation, and that's going to be really, really fun. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But there are some fun things that the Darth Vader prototype, I love that one. That's the one I definitely want to get for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. I also like the Mouse Droid Hot Wheels car. I didn't mention that one, but that's
outstanding too.
That is pretty cool.
Really slick. Yeah, I was really impressed with that. What's fun to me is that after over 40 years of Star Wars merchandise, they can still find things from the original trilogy to make and market and produce, and they're fun and creative and kind of like a refreshing take on things. I constantly marvel at what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of my favorite posters that they have on there is that Echo-based root beer poster that has the thermometer and the bottle of root beer, and it says always cold, always refreshing, Outer Rim territories. It's just so cool. It's just unique. I love those little play on everyday kind of things.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap up with this one. Finally, Daisy Ridley appeared on Good Morning America this week to promote her upcoming film, Ophelia, in which Ridley plays the famous Hamlet-inspired character. But of course, discussion of Star Wars came up, and Ridley pressed upon how emotional the filming sessions were, especially the days where John Boyega wrapped up, and then, of course, her own final day of filming. She said on her own day of final filming, she gave a speech to the crew that she really doesn't remember what she said, but she does remember choking up and weeping quite a bit. Then George Stephanopoulos asked if she had seen any final cuts, and Ridley mentioned that J.J. Abrams had shown her a few bits, and she says it is very exciting. Now, I can't get across her sound of that, but she made it sound like this is really going to be something special.
Oh boy!
Ridley was also asked if we could possibly see Rey anywhere else in the future, which I thought was a dangerous question with Daisy Ridley. But you know what? She's become so trained at this that she replied with just by squinting her eyes and saying, "Who can tell?" But what she could say is that the film is a brilliant end to the story.
I actually know the answer to that too, by the way.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I do. Interesting. Well, she's great.
I'm waiting on the edge of my seat. You can't drop that.
You might have to wait a while.
Oh my! Oh my gosh! This is the newscast we're going to come back to in 6 months.
That's right. So that Ophelia movie, I kind of want to go on a rant about that. I haven't seen the movie. Obviously, I've seen a trailer. Hamlet, for longtime listeners of the show, know that play, Shakespeare's work of art, is probably my favorite piece of narrative in the history of language. And so I know a lot about this. And so then when I saw the trailer, the way that they portrayed Ophelia and the fact that they're using non-Shakespearean language makes me taste bile and be very irritated. Because come on, you're not using Shakespearean language. All right, but this isn't Ham with Hamlet or whatever podcast, so I can rant about that on a pour over or something like that. But I want to like this because Daisy Ridley is in it and she's wonderful. And let's switch it back to Star Wars. I love that it's emotional. I love that it's going to be powerful, and I love that she and this cast have clicked the way that they have.
Yeah.
and that they are so emotional about this incredible story that is clearly so, important and weighs so heavily on our hearts, minds, and souls. So another excellent sign of what is to come in December.
Indeed it is.
Well, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and take a break and come back and talk more about the food and drink options at Galaxy's Edge. Thanks again, Tom.
Oh, you're welcome.
We are back, and sorry it took me so long. I was on my second helping of green milk.
Liar.
I am not. I'm being a little facetious. So, Tanya, I assume we all of you both tried the blue and green milk, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I did as well. Tanya, what do you think? How much did you love it?
I didn't. It was gross. It was so gross. And here's what I'll say about food and drink. It's subjective, okay? I understand we all have different tastes. And I think maybe because you hear, blue milk. And so you have these high expectations because, you've heard about blue milk. And then you get there and it's, neither milk nor a milky texture. It's a smoothie texture. So that kind of threw me off at first. And then if it's a smoothie texture, then I'm thinking, okay, fruity, like Jamba Juice or something. No, the blue milk was, for me, I know some people say it has a sweet taste. For me, it was just bland. I can't even describe what it tastes like because it tasted like nothing to me. And then the green milk it was just nasty. Like it was flour. It was like eating soap, I think.
Which from all the bad language you used as a kid.
Exactly. I mean, my parents used to stick bars of soap in my mouth. So it was like flashbacks to those days.
We kid. Amiyrah, did you have a similar reaction?
Yes. I mean, okay, so the green was not our favorite. We were with our friend Renee as well. And all three of us, we had a taste of it. We just were not fans. And they say that it has that flowery taste, like some type of
floral, yes.
Floral, yes. The hibiscus, maybe.
Yes.
And I could taste that. I said, it tastes like lavender soap to me at the end. So I was not a fan of that one. Now the blue milk, I mean, Tanya's right. It was a bit on the bland side, but I could taste the actual flavor of it. So if I had to pick the two, I would definitely go blue milk. I probably wouldn't drink it all myself. I would share it. Maybe, have my kids taste it too or something like that. But green it wasn't for me. But I've seen so many people love the green. So I think maybe it's just your taste buds. Right. But I just was not. I was like, oh no, this isn't my favorite. And that's okay. There were other things that were great in the parks to enjoy. Yeah. So
absolutely. For me, and maybe the two of you are similar, my litmus test for a theme park beverage is the butterbeer. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. See, that's the reaction I'm sure Disney wants us to feel from the blue and green milk. So I was hoping for something akin to that. I didn't think that was going to happen. It did not happen. I tried the blue milk first, and I've talked about this a few times, but I did think it was sweet, and the texture was fine. I would like to try it inside Oga's Cantina because supposedly it's still cold, but it's not a smoothie texture. It's just more liquidy, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was fine. I mean, I didn't dislike it. I didn't love it. I thought it was fine. It's not something I'm going to rush to bed to try. If someone bought me one, I would say thank you. So the green milk.
Thank you. I didn't have to pay for this. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. The green milk, if you were I think we're all healthy people. We're health conscious people. It tasted like, how do I say this? It wasn't my favorite. I didn't really like it. I'm not going to order it again. It's very healthy tasting, and I think what they were going for, they just forgot about the flavor aspect of things. You know what I mean? It just didn't. It's almost like I really can't think of a tactful way to describe it, but it wasn't my favorite at all. It just didn't have. They said, like you said, like a hibiscus or a floral. I didn't really taste it. It just didn't have a sweetness to it. It was almost like the first time you drink coffee and you're like, what's going on here? because you're used to something a little bit sweeter, especially because they both look great. But it wasn't what they were going for, and I'd be curious to hear what the reaction has been from guests. Especially of course today that they were recording this is the first day that you can get into Galaxy's Edge in California without a reservation. So I'm wondering what people are thinking about it. I know, like the two of you, I knew a lot of people who love the green milk, but it just wasn't necessarily for me. But that's, like you've both said, that's the beauty of our taste buds. Some people are going to love them. It's not the home run that butterbeer is, or whatever the drink is that's like the apple one that they have in the new Fantasyland. Gaston's.
Oh yes, yes.
Because they all have sugar. Like they're sugar and sweet, and that's what people like me like.
Right.
That's what I want to taste.
I agree.
But I mean, I'll give them props for, I think they were trying to give it to as many guests as possible because there's no dairy in it. So for people with allergies, it's a plant-based beverage, and I applaud that. Here's something for the vegans. Okay.
Because when I hear the word plant, I think I must drink that. So I understand. I like that it's always the selling point is plant-based. Oh, okay. So,
there you go. That describes it.
So what about the food options? I tried the Ronto wrap, which I really liked. Mm-hmm. My favorite was the Cadu ribs. I loved it. I thought it was a good spice, a little bit of a kick to it. They fell right off the bone. I thought they were delicious. My absolute favorite was the popcorn, which they're not calling popcorn. The kernels, the spicy, and then the sweet one. I thought those were extremely delicious.
Yes.
That might be my favorite thing to eat in Batu. Yeah. I thought it was great. But what about the two of you? Amiyrah, yours the same?
Yeah, well, mine was did you get to try the shack roast at Docking Bay 7?
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh, that was my favorite. So here, we need to give you all a background of what yes. Tania and I and our friend Renee did at Docking Bay 7 because I pushed them into doing this, but all three of us are insane and we all are content creators. So we know we needed to cover as much as possible while we were there. Right. So I told the lady, I said, "Hello, ma'am. We would like to order one of everything." And then she looked at me crazy. And then I said, "Oh no, we're journalists. So this is really important." So yes. We basically got almost all of everything at Docking Bay 7. So we were able to try, the shack roast, and we tried their vegan option. We had everything. So, and we had bites of everything because we were getting very full. Yeah. I think the shack roast was my favorite. It has like a cavatelli pasta underneath it, and had like a really good gravy on top. And it was a great kind of like a beef roast, but a little bit more upscale. And everything was shareable at Docking Bay 7, which I love as a frugal person because yes. You can get one thing and maybe two or three of you can share it. But
good
I enjoyed
too.
Yeah. It was like really big portions, which was nice. But I liked mostly everything at Docking Bay 7. I know Tania had a different experience.
I'm loving that Tanya's like cynical with a smile. I'm really enjoying this. Yeah. So, and I would have absolutely done the same thing. You order one of everything because you want to try it so you can talk to your listeners and the people who follow you. So you can tell them honestly how you felt about it, which I appreciate.
Right.
Tania, what did you think?
Yeah. I mean, Amiyrah was not joking. She walks into there and I'm already kind of full from the things that we had already tried. And then she walks in and she's like, "We'll take one of everything." Like slams her credits down, one of everything. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. So my palate, I like food a lot, but sometimes I don't like crazy things. So my favorite thing was actually the kids meal. Which is, it's kind of, you can also get the fried Andorian tip yip, like as an adult meal. But with the kids meal, you get a smaller piece of the chicken and then you get macaroni and cheese with it as well. So that's why I really liked it. The tip yip is essentially fried chicken without a bone. And with the adult portion, you get like a vegetable potato mash and then gravy, and it was actually pretty good. There's like some broth at the bottom, but I really enjoyed that. I liked the ribs as well. I'm trying to think. We did not like the shrimp noodle salad.
No, we didn't. The yoga.
Was it cold?
It was cold, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
It was cold. Yeah, I don't think that wasn't our favorite, just because it was kind of bland, and we thought we were expecting something, a little more spectacular.
And I like shrimp a lot. So it's hard for me not to like. And I don't usually mind if it's cold, but there was something funky about it.
Right. Well, I did try the tip yip too. Now you bring that up, and I thought that was good. I haven't really heard too much about some of the food at all. I've heard, a lot of people seem to like the Ronto wrap. Did you both try that as well?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you both like that?
I did. I liked. It kind of is like a hot dog.
Yeah.
But I liked everything with it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. I know they call it. What do they call the bread?
It's like
around it.
Why am I not thinking of what it?
Yeah, I know.
It's just I think they just called it a pita.
They call it a pita, but it's
you
not
and your
really
fancy
a pita
words. Yeah.
Because a pita is usually a thinner type of bread, but this is a thicker, and so I really liked it, and I liked the it's almost like a coleslaw, but not really. But I like the crunch with it. I like the overall combination of flavors of the Ronto wrap.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that they had the two meats, really. So it was filling. It's not, you would look at it and go, oh, this is just a hot dog. But I did like that they have we had the roasted shaped part underneath it. And then all of the flavors on top, because I know it had the peppercorn sauce, and it was very filling. So if you really are like in a rush, or maybe you just want to take something and, stand in line for Savi's, or if it's like a 3-hour wait to get into Smuggler's Run, you can get a Ronto wrap and take it with you, and you'll be nice and full. So I liked that about it. Otherwise I was just like, oh, it's cool. I like the atmosphere. It's pretty cool. And then we tried the jerky too, which we did. Well, I tried it. No one else wanted to try it.
That's because you should have seen the look on her face when she tried it. So why would anybody want to try it after that?
It just wasn't good. It wasn't good. It made me so sad.
Was it like no flavor, or too spicy, or what was it?
Well, I had actually ordered the sweet, but maybe she didn't hear me say sweet. So I wanted a sweet jerky, but they did give me the spicy. So that caught me off guard right off the bat. But
sure.
And we've seen the displays of it for so many months. Like, we thought it was going to, be like completely flat and like really cool looking. And it was jerky. That's all it was. It was jerky. And I think the spice, I tasted way more spice than I did meat. And I'm used to having a jerky where the flavor is within the actual meat. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to refine that. I hope they do. I heard they're already refining the Ronto wrap, like the slaw on top. Yeah, they refined it already. They changed the peppercorn sauce.
Really? People didn't seem to love it, I guess. I wonder what they're going to do if they're going to keep the menu with the milk, or
That's what I'm curious about.
Because I know it was a challenging effort to come up with something that they found the right color and texture as well. I'm sure, it's got to be daunting. In all seriousness, people have been thinking about blue milk since 1977. So that's a lot to live up to. So,
yeah. Maybe they will. You know what? I kind of hope they keep it the way it is, just so that way people will have these discussions. Because I feel like this is always going to be a discussion every time someone experiences Galaxy's Edge for the first time, and you go to Batu, and you got to have the milk, and then you just see who likes it, who doesn't, what do you think about it, what do you taste in it. I don't know. I like these type of conversations, because this is not really what we have when they're putting out a new cupcake in the parks, or they're putting out it's just like, oh cool, it's sweet, oh cool, it's cute. Like, this is like really causing a lot of deep conversations, this blue and green milk. I like it.
It's great. And that's one of the great things about the Disney theme parks, no matter what coaster on or where in the world you are. They get chefs there that are willing to try new things. They know so many people are going to want to try this food. And so this is a big opportunity to make an impact. And they certainly did. This is going to be, my goodness, I'm sure you saw, having sporks at Galaxy's Edge about broke eBay. There was actually one for $75 on eBay.
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. Nuts. Yeah.
Do they even use the metal forks anymore? I heard they got rid of them because people were stealing them.
I believe you are correct.
Yeah, yes. I think that's what they said, which is so sad. I kind of love them. Those are pretty cool.
Have nice things.
I know. Come on.
Exactly. Then your parents teach you manners, kids. Yeah, exactly. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about food or beverage wise before we, because I see both your cups of coffee are getting low. Anything else you want to bring up about Galaxy's Edge?
I mean, I feel like we need to emphasize again how delicious the Outpost mix is at Katsak's Kettle, because that was my favorite. And the thing is, when I first tried it, I didn't know what to think of it. And then it was just a little bit more addicting, and you have to eat it both at the same time, with the sweet and the little bit of spicy together. Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Definitely.
When they said you have to mix, I wasn't expecting that to be the home run that it was. I was, and I don't really like caramel corn. So when I had that, I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. So that worked out really, really well. It's also worked out really, really well to have the both of you on Coffee with Kenobi. And obviously both Tania and Amiyrah have great insights, and they're very entertaining and clever people. So you're obviously all going to want to pay attention to what they are doing. So Tania, let's start with you. Where can people find you and your great content?
You can find me at lolalambchops.com, and I am at Lola Lamb Chops pretty much on all social media channels.
Absolutely. And Amiyrah, what about you?
You can find my content over at fourhatsandfrugal.com. And if you are a Star Wars mom listening, you can come join us in our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group called The Star Wars Moms, and we have a lot of fun in there.
And speaking of a lot of fun, aren't you both part of a podcast?
We're part of a variety show of sorts.
Yes,
it's like a talk show.
True, that's true.
So it's called The Geekly Show, and we're live on Facebook every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And it is highly it's hard to watch that show and not be smiling the whole time.
Oh, well, thank you. We try. It's because there's 5 women. I mean, when you get 5 women together live on Facebook, then all kinds of things come out.
Calamity ensues, and we love it. Well,
Correct.
Thank you both so very much for being on Coffee with Kenobi.
Well, thank you.
Thanks,
Dan.
Listening to Coffee with Kenobi, you are the podcast you're looking for. This is
Thank you so much to Amiyrah Martin, Tania Lamb, and Tom Gross for joining me on this week's show. I also want to thank our CWK sponsors, Penguin Random House Audio, Bubble Up, One Nation Coffee, and Mouse Fan Travel. Please support them the way they support our podcast. And, of course, remember to listen to our new and archived shows of Coffee with Kenobi wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Stitcher, YouTube, where you can find all of the videos from Galaxy's Edge and so much more, and on our website, www.coffeewithkenobi.com, or wherever you enjoy listening to your favorite shows. And if you listen to the show through iTunes, please leave us a review. You can also find us on social media such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest, and would love for you to check us out there. Be sure to listen to our CWK family of shows too, including Legends Library, Resistance Reactions, Comics with Kenobi, and Lattes with Leia. Please leave a review for each of their shows as well, and be sure to subscribe to each feed individually. In addition to the places I just mentioned for Coffee with Kenobi, you can find me twice a month on the podcast Looking at Lucasfilm, part of the Jim Hill Media Podcast Network, as well as on Twitter at Mr. Zer, MRZEHR. You can find my writings on CWK's website, as well as StarWars.com, where I'm an official blogger there, as well as on IGN, where I contribute articles on Star Wars, as well as other popular culture topics. Don't forget to check out www.patreon.com/coffeewithkenobi to help support the show, as well as get access to CWK Pour Over, our exclusive podcast not heard anywhere else. There are also t-shirts, coffee mugs, and so much more. As always, thank you so much for joining me this week on Coffee with Kenobi. Until next time, this is the podcast you're looking for.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along. Move along.
Looking to catch up on the latest Star Wars books? Try listening to them on audio. Featuring sound effects and music directly from the movies, Star Wars audiobooks are the definitive listening experience. From brand new audiobooks such as Alphabet Squadron and the audiobook exclusive Dooku Jedi Lost to our blockbuster movie tie-in editions, you'll have plenty to keep you entertained. Start listening wherever audiobooks are sold. Bubble Up is an all-new app that is an incredible resource for organizing and managing your life, as well as a really fun way to learn about any topic you can possibly imagine. It's really a complete personal information management system for your life. In fact, you can use Bubble Up for work, entertainment, and personal use. Get ready to take fun and organization to a whole new level. Go to bubbleup.com/promo/Coffee with Kenobi and activate Coffee with Kenobi's exclusive promo code to get started on Bubble Up, BUBLUP.